Hello and welcome to not phase 2, this would be inverter 2. So just a quick recap. If you're following this channel, I didn't start recording these until I put in that, which is the ground array for the main house. And just a recap, if you're not following along, this is the original setup where I went from off-grid. So this building used to be completely off-grid, but I had issues basically along the lines of the inverter size was a little too small for it. So I had to play this game where I took some things off. It was fed from the house, but when we lost power, it wouldn't do anything because this would be, sorry, I wouldn't do anything is probably the wrong way of saying it. It would do something, this would stay on, but the main house wouldn't. So there's just no expandability to make this backfeed the house in an easy way. So that's why we got the original inverter. Long story short, the inverter was too big to meet Illinois requirements. So that's why the main house has got a different inverter on it. So if you're planning, you probably would just buy one bigger inverter and put all these on one, but hey, we are where we are. So let's look at the project at hand. Because of parts, I'm not going to hook this one up yet. Right now, these panels are doing nothing. They're just sitting on top of the roof. So the goal is to get those. But because they're wired in already, I got to get conduit and stuff because I want to do it right. But to test the inverter, I just threw these panels on the ground. It's the rest of the pallet of they're bifacial, so they're not really being bifacial sitting here on the ground, but this will get us to go. I've got a stand that's going to go here eventually, but for now, for testing, this will be perfect because it's quite a bit of voltage. So what I'm going to do is just run the wires. There's my old micro inverters. Those will, I don't know if I'm going to use those or not, but maybe I will. So I'm going to run these wires over to the inverter. So let's head over to the inverter and check it out. All right, over here at the inverter, I just don't have the conduit. So I'm going to do a Y. Those will come in here and then roll up, and we'll have to put a hole in the eave and then conduit from the combiner box. The cool thing is I actually get to do away with the combiner box with this inverter, because this inverter, although bigger than the one on the main house, still is the same in the standpoint of it has a lot more voltage per line. So it's got 4 trackers, and then you can do 2 strings per tracker on this particular grow watt model. And let's, where I stopped yesterday is to ferrule or not to ferrule. I did talk to the solar installer that did the main house, and they said we only need to use these if the wire size is too small. So I don't know. I do have a variety pack, and these are, got to be careful because these are technically hot because I just plugged them in. So I got to decide if I'm going to use a different size ferrule since that one doesn't fit, or what's going to happen. So let me try a few and see.